What's going on, guys? Chuck here with another awesome Blu-ray purchase. Today I have a release that just came out from Vinegar Syndrome. It's a 4K. Actually, I think a lot of people were kind of surprised that when it did come out, and that is from 1999, The Rage, Carrie 2. Now, of course, obviously, this is a sequel to, was it like 1976, I think it was Brian Hall's Carrie, based on the Stephen King novel. It's a film I feel it's actually been totally overlooked and forgotten about, unfortunately. Now, I actually saw this in the theater. I actually enjoyed this film a lot. It's nothing, admittedly, spectacularly different. It follows the same beats as the original Carrie. Obviously, you've got a few things that are different. The main character in this is not, the homely, total cast out like Sissy SpaceX Carrie was. Here she's, very pretty. She's, very confident, young teenager. She's considered the outcast in, that 90s style where, the girl who's not the cool, popular person, and she's the outcast, even though nothing's really wrong with her in that regard of what you think of. But she's got a mother who's, not quite all there, left behind. She's living with foster parents. She's got a best friend who's been mistreated badly by the stereotypical popular group, the jocks, cheerleaders, whatnot. And it basically, it kind of affects her in a way, but she ends up, falling in love or befriending, one of the jock guys and, becoming a couple. And that's just, not going to work for the cool group in a nutshell. And you've got Amy Irving here reprising her role as Sue Snell from the original film. So this came out in 1999, and I just rewatched it again. Like I said, I liked it. I really liked it a lot when I first came out. All I had was this original MGM DVD. So it's definitely up. Because 4K is definitely an upgrade. I never got a Blu-ray. This is it. One thing watching this I noticed is that it's funny, and I don't know if it's just because of the 4K, how it made it look, which, by the way, it looked beautiful, especially opening titles. There's very harsh reds and blues and some greens because, they're starting off the opening titles painting this, the mom's painting this red paint everywhere, like she's warding off spirits or something. I'm not sure, but that color really pops with the 4K. There's like a blue tint where you have police sirens at one point, but in the beginning, it's very, very. Actually, these colors really pop out and they stand out. The movie looks great. I mean, it's. Listen, the color palette, it really stands out. Everything looks really good. However, because of that, and it sounds really weird to say that, but to me, I kept looking at this, and this is kind of what I had when I watched The Dark Half. I'm watching this, and this movie seems to me like it looks like it could have been a straight-to-video movie. I don't know why that is. I don't know what that look entails. Maybe it's just how it was. Maybe it's how my settings are. I don't know. But it looked more like I said, made for video as opposed to theatrical release, which again, I did see this in the theater, so it was released in the theaters. But it's not really a knockout. I said it's a kind of look at it and kind of feel out certain aspects of it where it feels like it just straight to DVD, obviously, or straight to video, or the effects aren't too bad. I mean, they only have they're pretty much a lot of practical effects, and there's some early CGI. It's in 1999. So we're like 3 years removed from Jurassic Park, right? No, 5 years. It's not Jurassic Park 94. It's like not 5 years removed from Jurassic Park. But it's not a whole lot of real major CGI. There's some, and it's noticeable, dated in a way. But most of us, I think, it's a lot of practical stuff, which is good. You've got some decent performers. I like the chemistry between, was it Jason London and the actress who. What is her name? Emily Burgell, who I never really seen outside of this. Apparently, she's done a lot of TV and she's been a producer, but I don't recall seeing her anything except for this. And I thought that her and Jason London have really good chemistry together. You got Zachary Ty Bryant from Home Improvement playing a jock jerk, which is what he's good at. I think he played a similar role in Smallville. I think, if I'm right, I think he plays that role in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. I think that's him. Yeah, that's you got flashback footage of the original film, which was okayed by Sissy Spacek, which I thought was very interesting. Also known that I think it was Kat Shea, who was the director of this, who was a replacement director apparently, did get the okay, like the blessing from Brian De Palma to do this film, which is nice. It's not something she had to do, but she did. I think that's a nice, courteous thing. Um, Again, watching this film, it feels so 90s. It's 1999, which takes again. It seems so long ago. I guess it was long ago, but watching it just takes you back. I mean, we're pre cell phones. Everybody still has landlines. Um, there's a Rachel, the main character. She works at a photomat. They're developing photos. People walk around with video cameras. It's crazy. It's like it's a time capsule for that time period. The music is 90s. Everything about it just feels so 90s. But again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that I feel, I don't want to say dates the film, but definitely marks it. Let's put it that way. Maybe that's the same thing, but at least one sounds better than the other. One doesn't sound so bad. But overall, I enjoyed the film for what it was. It's a quick, easy watch. The climax is nowhere near as compelling or as the original Carrie. You don't. I don't know. All your bad guys or your jock jerks, whatever. They're all there. Although they weren't really jocks in the first one, they were just the cool kids. But here again, by the '90s, it's the stereotypical football players that are the jerks and the cheerleaders. You're getting more in that popular crowd, and they're all there. And it's all based around these football players having a sex game involving young girls, which apparently this was based off of real events that were going on. I do recall you hear about these little kind of contests that were going on. That's kind of the basis of what's going on here. I'm kind of this scattershotting all over the place. I do apologize. Actually, I literally just stopped watching it. I just finished watching it, so I'm just giving you everything raw, and as it comes to me. But like I said, the ending is not quite as climactic as the original. I think it tries to be, but you're dealing with a high school party as opposed to the prom. They're doing kind of the same thing. You've got they're even cutting in the sound effect of "Oh, I'm going to laugh at you" in there at the point, which is kind of weird because this character has nothing to do with Carrie's mom, her dad maybe, but not her mom. Spoiler alert. Like I said, and you could tell that apparently originally this was not supposed to be a sequel to Carrie. This was its own film. They noticed there was other similarities to the film, and there are. So they decided let's make it a sequel and tie it together. Like I said, the only real connected tissue to this is Amy Irving as Sue Snell coming in as a counselor of the high school, basically trying to, make up for what she did at her part in the whole thing with Carrie and the flashbacks and, in a very, very minor story thread, if you will, that connects to. But, you could cut all that out and just have this movie to be by itself. It wouldn't it'd be a teenager or telekinesis movie. It wouldn't have to be Carrie. And maybe that's what hurt this film. Like I said, it's not talked about. It's kind of forgotten. But I think it's it deserves better. I think it deserves to be seen. I don't want to say an underrated gem. It's not that high quality, but it's fun. It's not horrible. I've never seen the remakes. The was like a television version, and then the Chloe Grace Moretz version of Carrie. I know that I have any really desire to. I think after this one, I kind of stick with this one, and that's it. But I think it definitely deserves to be remembered or checked out, and not kind of thrown on the wayside. So I was really excited. Also, let me point out, back up. When I talk about the picture looked great. There are different sound options on here. I did listen to the 5.1, and the 5.1 on this was amazing. This has got some great surround effects. Really immersive. especially when Rachel is having her telekinesis moments, which also brings a point that the director kind of chooses to go with a sepia tone cuts of the film when these are happening. It's kind of off-putting in my mind, especially towards the end. I think it's her way of trying to mimic the red filter that Brian De Palma uses on the end at the climax of the original Carrie, but it doesn't really work. And it's kind of like I said, it's off-putting because it's happening throughout the film. Every time she kind of has these moments of cutting away, and it's like a sepia tone scene or something, and it's whereas De Palma, his red filter really came at the end. The climax, you build it here. It's just all shocking because you're seeing it right now. I think that helps. That I say with Cat Shay, this is kind of throwing it here and there every time she has or using her powers. I mean, it's not quite doesn't work for me, but the sound effects and this the 5.1 is just amazing. It's really good, directional effects that are over encompassing. Even like the mention of the they're all going to laugh at you. It's bouncing back and forth through the speakers, which is really cool. I mean, this has got a great 5.1 mix. As I was about to say, I was really surprised and excited that Vinegar Syndrome decided to, release this in 4K and kind of give it, a forgotten gem. There we go again. A little bit of love. Now, let's just take a look. Here's the slip cover in the back with a little big description. There's not a whole lot to this, honestly, for a Vinegar Syndrome release. It's pretty, dare I say, bare bones. It's not really bare bones, though, but I mean, there's some things on here, but not what you expect from most Vinegar Syndrome titles. At least not, I don't know, maybe, it's not one of their more bigger, deluxe releases or whatever. But it's not bad. Again, the fact that it looks and sounds beautiful in 4K is great. Here's the actual 4K, and here's the back with all your special features. And you have your 4K and your Blu-ray disc. And, all your special features are on the Blu-ray minus the 2 audio commentaries are on the 4K. From what I can tell, nothing really new is on this disc that wasn't on this already. No new features. The only thing I see differently is there is a second audio commentary here, where this has the audio commentary with director Cat Shay, which I remember listening to when I had this DVD years ago. And on this, it has that same audio commentary plus another one with says Cat Shay and a group commentary track with director Cat Shay and cinematographer Donald M. Morgan, moderated by David Ducato. It doesn't say it's new, so maybe this came out on a later Blu-ray release I'm not aware of. Like I said, this is the only copy I have. But everything other feature on here is the same that's on the DVD, and that includes deleted scenes with commentary by Cat Shay, altered ending with commentary by director Cat Shay, trailer, what have you. And that's pretty much all that's on here. Now, I'd like to tell you how those features looking on here, but my Blu-ray didn't work. I tried to pop in a Blu-ray, take a look at it, and my player would not read it. No player I had would read my Blu-ray disc. So I have to reach out to Vinegar Syndrome and see about getting a replacement for that. I mean, it looks clean. Nothing looks wrong with it. It doesn't look crap. It looks perfectly pristine. But for whatever reason, the Blu-ray just does not play. And I tried, like I said, on several different players, and to no avail. It did not work on any of them. However, the 4K worked fine and looked and sounded great. So, all things considered, it could be worse off. 4K could have, messed up, and the Blu-ray worked fine. Then I'm really, would have upset. But there you have it. But like I said, I will reach out to them and try and get this resolved. And I don't imagine, or I don't expect having a problem with that, because I've dealt with Vinegar Syndrome with some, issues, mostly my mistakes, and they've always handled it, quickly, perfectly, and with no hassle whatsoever. They're fantastic customer service at Vinegar Syndrome. Okay, so that is it for this one. Just a quickie look at the Rage Carrie 2, just released in 4K from Vinegar Syndrome. I recommend checking it out if you haven't. Like I said, it's not Carrie by any stretch of imagination, but it's if you go in without looking at bringing in the baggage from Carrie or thinking it has to match up to Carrie, I think you have a lot of fun with it. If you're in the '90s nostalgia, this is definitely going to give you that because this, like I said, 1999, it feels very, very '90s in a lot of ways, and it just makes me feel old. So that is it for this one. If you enjoyed this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you've seen The Rage Carrie 2. What are your thoughts on it? Like I said, I actually saw this in a theater. I remember liking it a lot. Like I said, this has got this DVD. This is the last one I've had, or last version I've had of it since then. So I was really excited to get this 4K. I hope they'll get the Blu-ray too. Or just say hi. I'll always take hi. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.